This conference will now be recorded.
Town of Cottage Grove will hold the annual Board of Review from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 at the Town Hall at 4058 County Road N, Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Petitioners are required to schedule an appointment with the clerk at least 48 hours in advance and file an objection form for real property assessment. We have a quorum present. The meeting was properly posted. I'll call the Board of Review to order. You have the minutes of last year's Board of Review.
I'll move approval as presented.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Fonger to approve the minutes for May 26, 2022 as presented. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Receive the assessment roll and the assessor's affidavit.
At this time, I can present the 2023 assessment roll to the clerk with the signed affidavit. This year, there is no omitted properties or powerful errors report, and all sales have been filed with the Department of Revenue in a timely fashion.
We're not going to swear it in unless we have somebody come.
Correct.
So what level do you,
Level of assessment.
yeah,
This year, I have an estimated level of assessment of 92.
92%.
Correct. I noticed that. So that signifies approximately an 8% change over the last 2 years.
That's an awful lot, isn't it?
I didn't think it'd drop that
I personally think it's a lot more.
It should be more of a drop than what?
What I have been sharing is, we did that 2 years ago, 2021. I can firmly say over the last 24 months, I have seen a 20% change in real estate values. The 2022 sales are much stronger than the 2021. As 2023 continues, we'll have more evidence, but at this time, they have seemed to stay somewhat stable compared to 2022. I don't think they've gone down. There's obviously less sales.
Yeah,
Um,
pandemic really pushed the value up.
Some of the conversations that we had today in our office with some of the other assessors that have spoken to DOR is that the DOR plans on pushing heavy changes in equalized valuation this year. Our discussion was more in the Door County area that they were going to be doing about a 30% change in 1 year.
Wow.
Now, I haven't seen them be that aggressive in the Madison area, but they have done 10 to 15% changes in 1 year. I know it's coming out soon for 2023, so we'll see what they're doing. But again, that overall just means on average, the sales are suggesting 8% more than the assessed value, which can be a significant amount at $400,000, $50,000 in difference, right?
I think Madison's assessment went up double digits.
Yeah, people were complaining all over the place on that.
So
they reval? Or do they reval every year or something?
I believe Madison stays every year. They are trying to stay within compliance,
Yeah.
just like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do the entire city or just sections or whatever they feel is necessary.
Did I hear you say that you think Madison has gone up 15%? Is that what you were saying? You said Door County 30%.
It's very yes. Yeah, I'm seeing a 15% typically, 12 to 15% sale prices over assessed value.
what's the value of an acre of ag land nowadays?
Great question. Give me 1 second. I think you guys were. $300 somewhere. If you give me just a little bit, I'll get into the database and give you the correct answer.
Did you buy a Ferrari?
My friend did, yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah,
You gave thumbs up, huh?
yeah, it was, I got pictures of the car. It's actually really nice for what it is. I mean, now I get to see how the other half lives.
What year?
Huh?
What year was it?
It's actually a 19. We paid,
$379
That's the egg use value,
use value.
but the sale price, you got any clue on what that is?
Market value
Yeah,
of agricultural land,
3,079.
379 is the A use value.
379.
379. A use, what is it selling in the market? Anywhere between 7,000 and 25,000 an acre, depending on where you live and what the ability of that land is capable of. There has been some higher egg values in sales. I don't know if they're necessarily valid arm length sales. They seem to be non-listed, and the people purchasing them want it and are paying a premium for them. The egg values in the town will be the same as they were in 2021. And we're carrying 7,100 as market value for your agricultural land. So that means
Waste.
$900.
That 7,100 for the ag land, how would that relate to equalized value? You know?
I don't think agricultural land is heavily weighted in equalized value. Equalized value is mainly based off of residential and commercial.
Yeah.
And because that's not a major class in the township, I don't believe it has very much weight.
Okay.
What's your question there? What are you looking for? What kind of information
If there was any change in,
would make it
Equalized.
have more equalized value?
yeah. Well, if the equalized value on ag land would either be up or down from what the value is.
Is that because you've seen a large increase in equalized value and pay in more in certain things?
I don't know.
What sort of matching between the town and the village in a way, right? Or is that what you're sort of looking for?
Yeah.
Be closer or?
Well, how much of a penalty are we paying? It's swamps and
So-
waste, it's only $900 an acre.
What when
Well-
he says swamp and waste, which class are you?
I would typically put 2,000 on that. Well, 4,000, and then it's 50% is a 2,000, but depending on what swamp and waste we're looking at and a particular piece of land. Now, are we talking about the swamp in a 40-acre tillable acre, like along the creek? That's going to be less valued, around 900. Now, if we're talking a 20-acre residential lot with 4 or 5 acres dedicated to the house and the buildings, and then they have a 5 to 10 acre section that's swampy land, well,
Yeah.
I would value that at 4,000. So we see that in the sales, and then it's assessed at 2,000, 50% of market value.
So if I had much swamp and waste, I'd sell that development right.
No,
And as an RDU?
Yeah,
Ah.
if that made up majority of, sell that. You know, it's only valued at 5. Sell it for, well, last one, what, we saw paid 50
Ooh, that's
a
what
couple
nice.
years ago.
I imagine those are going up too.
So I'll share with you the final major class comparison. This is based off of 2022, and this came out February 8th of 2023. Your total ratio is 96.57, so 97%. I am anticipating a different set of data going forward, and that's why I'm at 92%. They have major class comparison. They have your agricultural land, including undeveloped, at a total of 31,393,100. And again, that's right from the Department of Revenue's Wisconsin final major class comparison from February. Is it likely you're going to be bumped out of compliance in the next 2 years? Probably.
Yeah.
Really?
Everybody is, aren't they?
I have to
There
imagine.
won't be enough of you
Yeah.
guys to go around.
So what happens then?
Well, if that happens, we go through the same cycle. You have a,
3 years to,
it's actually, I think,
get it.
like 5 years, and if the real estate market does what everyone's predicting or telling me, and it's gonna go down, well, then you wouldn't really have to make any changes in the future, because you would fall back into compliance. But if it continues as is, once you fall out, you have about a 5-year window. So it's not a exact rush. And the positive is we just did a full revaluation, so it would not be as costly as the last time. I would recommend an interim market update, which is a fraction of the cost.
Okay.
when you do an interim market update, what does that include you doing?
Includes us reviewing all of the values based off the sales and setting all new assessments town-wide and defending them.
Because you don't go and view each,
We're not going to visit each property. We'd be doing the normal maintenance that we do annually,
yeah,
and then we would also be revaluing the entire township based off the sale data.
But just off the sales data, you
Correct.
wouldn't spot check here, there, around the town.
only if they had a building permit.
Only if they had a building permit.
Well, we've had quite a few building permits, you
Yeah,
know, every week, every time we've met, I should
Every
say,
month.
we've had quite a few every month. Not necessarily a lot of new full
Right.
houses, but a lot of bathrooms and
Roofs.
roofs and finishing basements and windows and decks.
Do you want me to keep the recording on, or do you want to, you got more of this kind of stuff to talk
Does anybody
about?
have any more questions?
I got some on some specific prop. Does that fall under all this?
Sure.
I didn't write down property, I mean, parcel numbers at all, but I saw that Dane County has got a place on Aladar Way where the assessment went to a big zero because of the county. What'd they buy over there?
It might be one of those slivers, that there was a few of those little slivers between parcels that were up in sheriff's sale.
Yes.
And it might be that they ended up with it.
Yeah, but it was a considerable amount of money, I thought. I mean, it wasn't hundreds of thousands of dollars, but
Let me see if I can.
I have a small piece they paid 15,000 for, which was a sliver within that neighborhood on that road.
Mark it in. Oh, you don't have a hard copy of it.
What's the value?
zero now because the county owns it.
Yeah, but I mean, what would the value be in the first place for
Yeah.
them to buy it for $15,000? They have no value there.
I don't know why the county would end up owning it, but maybe if it doesn't sell at the sheriff's sale.
Sheriffs, they take it.
That could be, yeah.
This is my imagination, or did we hear from a woman who had been mowing a strip
7-Eleven.
that didn't belong to her,
Yes,
but was sold at a sheriff's office and somebody else bought it?
right.
And she expected she could get it for $25 or
And
something.
She underbid it and somebody else got it. That was over in American
American
Heritage
That's right.
by Baxter Road.
Okay. And she came to us, what could she do?
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. It wasn't my imagination.
No.
All right.
Yeah, there's delinquent taxes for that parcel. And it looks like 5/16/22, there was a recorded document. I don't have access to these documents, but it was valued at 15,000.
So how big a parcel was it?
It's 0.08 acres.
So
0.08,
It's like
Less than
2,000.
that's peanuts.
not much.
Point
How
zero.
would somebody pay 15 grand for that? The county or whatever, that doesn't even make sense.
Or was 15,000 the value
That
that
was the prior
value?
value
Yeah,
before it
but-
went tax exempt.
So 15,000, that would have put, I mean, even a residential lot here in the township, if we just bump that 0.08 up to 0.1 for 15,000, that puts the value at $150,000 an acre, and we're not even assessed that for residential property in the township here. So why would it be, I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's just take a look at property in that neighborhood. It might be worth 150,000 an acre. We just don't have.
This conference will now be recorded.
I just bumped that and turned it off, so anyway,
Now, what a weird,
it's just.
About 90,500 an acre is what I have in that.
what would the rationale be, I mean, of leaving that little sliver of property? When that was designed, the whole area there,
I don't know who the prior
Drainage way?
owner
No.
was.
apparently not.
What's that,
I
Kim?
don't know who the prior owner was. I'd have to get old tax records to find that.
And you'd think one of the people next door would want to own it. I would think.
Yeah.
So the county still owns it then.
Well, they do own it now. I'll see if I can figure out who owned it before.
Before I have James and Alice Giarusso, Giarusso,
They
Giarusso.
owned one of them next to it before.
Is that?
Did they own one of the ones next to it that sold or something?
On my sale transfer, that's this, the seller and the buyer is
Okay.
Dane County.
So let me just,
Well,
you can find-
It seems like the Russos were always in the paper about being behind on their property tax.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know why they would have ever left that little sliver.
Yeah, that's weird. So the owners on each side didn't want it apparently, huh?
I didn't know about it.
Didn't want to pay
Anything,
$15,000.
Yeah.
So they'll probably be able to buy it cheaper, I would presume. But why buy it? They can use it.
taxes would have been that much on it.
Yeah,
They could have bought it for less than
Yeah,
15,
you
just
think
for the
so?
taxes.
yeah, that's weird. I suppose they think they can use it anyway, so why pay for it?
Sure.
Right.
And then there was a 3779A Gala Way. I didn't know we had any.
Oh, I remember some of those properties. Yes. That was a few years ago when,
Charge over there?
But they had letters after them?
yeah,
Oh,
yes.
Mine doesn't really know the
Trying to
no, but
remember.
the court.
Because I saw
That
two different
scenario.
names for 3779 Gala Way. But then there was this other one of 3779A Gala Way.
Rental property?
I don't know.
I remember seeing it on a map or, on a CS survey map.
Okay.
The one that we would have gotten for, we took action on that, and I can't remember what the action was. It would have been within the last 3 years, but exactly what.
Okay.
That's the only parcel that name owned prior, so I don't know how come they had it. Maybe they owned one next door a long time ago because the taxes were delinquent, so they moved away and just left it maybe.
If I recall that piece, I think the county had it, put it to auction, and somebody randomly purchased it right
Oh,
after
they're
the
from Kentucky.
revaluation,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I'm just looking at access dating the year at a time, or I'm looking at tax records a year at a time here, so.
Yeah. So it was, before the revaluation, it was assessed at like $6,100. Revaluation came along, it saw a higher price because at the time, it was considered a residential lot, but only small. And what is the value of the first 10,000 feet, or how many square feet it was, came out to 15,000. And I believe someone bought that from the county based off of that assessment and then was trying to resell it to the neighbors for that same
Yeah, I
amount. The
think
neighbors
that's-
said, no way.
So they quit paying taxes on it and then the county got it.
Yeah.
3779 Gala Way is Ahlenfeld's, and they have a mother-in-law suite in their house. So I don't know why that's assessed separately though, because there's only one.
Well, then there's a Schlickow at 3779 Gala Way also that was in that list.
There's only one in Access Dane at that address, 3779, but I know that house has like a mother-in-law suite. I don't think it's a separate, like one of those little houses, but could be.
What was the address?
3779 Gala Way.
But without the A that Steve brought up. Was it
I haven't found one that is-
3779A?
I
Is that
haven't,
what you said you saw?
Maybe that's just a mailing address.
I haven't found,
That's probably what it is.
But it shows up on, that document that Kim sent out with all the new property assessments that they sent out.
Add the changes.
Chris has that there. If you, I can give you the parcel number if you want to find it. It should,
I'll just-
should about be section 19, that area.
I will tell you, our database has 2 3779 Galloways.
Hmm.
I went through this whole
One that has
document
vacant
today.
land that we can,
Oh,
One
Okay.
Schlickow. You
Yep.
saw,
yep, correct. And then the other one is Ihlenfeld. Ehlenfeld. Ehlenfeld.
How could it be the same address?
oh, 3779A Galaway is only a billing address, and that's the billing address for the land that Ahlenfeld's own to the, here, let me show you what that looks like. So Ahlenfeld's live in this little square here at the end of Galaway. Remember when they came in and
Yep.
split all that up, and now they own all this land? And this land has a billing address of 3779A, which is probably the mother-in-law suite or vice versa, because I know that house has
Yeah.
that. So it's probably something along those lines. But then I don't know what you said, you Schlickow. How do you spell that?
And that address could have been carried over from the time of the split.
How do you spell Schlickow?
SCHILIECKAU.
Thanks, okay. Wow. I didn't spell that right.
there's no SCHLIE is what I copied out, maybe.
Oh, it's Jeff. Oh, he's the one that owns, he's the one that bought that lot on the corner of Galaway, and he owns all.
He owns right next to it, and it was a
Oh, I
split,
gotta
it was a
update this.
split this year.
He's
for
the one that's been
2023.
trying to put the houses in there on Galaway and trying to figure out where to put them.
Yeah.
He bought that really goofy shaped one there. That's Jeff Schlickow.
And that's
But
sharing the
He
same.
doesn't have, his billing address is 4437 Baxter Road, so I don't know where the 3779 came from.
It came from, so again, Jeff Schlickow, the property we're talking about, this one right here on the screen, brand new, 2023, did not exist in
Right,
2022.
there's no parcel address though, because it doesn't have a house, and the billing address is 4437 Baxter Road.
Well,
Unless he owns
somewhere during
something else.
the split of all of these parcels, the 3779 Galloway was put in to the site address to find it.
Oh,
As this conversation has gone on, I have deleted
I
3779,
see.
and the only site address I have for this is Galloway. And if you would like to change it to the other road, I'll
No,
be
that's
happy
the
to.
billing, that's just the billing address. That's Access Dane has.
Well, it could be Vilas Hope.
I was hoping, no. I
Oh, it
believe
doesn't
Gail.
have an address because it doesn't have a house.
Yeah.
So, and then most likely if it has a driveway, it will come off of
Off
Galloway.
Gala.
So,
And then the Scar Pit LLC. That had a decrease.
there's a whole bunch of those. Oh, it was probably Ofston's property where they took the house down. Because Score Pit LLC owns the
John Ofton's farm.
former John
Okay.
Ofston farm, and they took the house down.
That
They
makes
did
sense.
take the house
Yeah,
down.
That is correct. There was a raised permit for that.
Yep.
Before it falls.
So it's not part of the pit really, it's just their ownership and then they took that house down.
And then I have Seeger, Seeger on Shadle Road.
Yep, the property is on Cedar, oh, that's one of Vinnie's lots that they divided off of the Hauge farm. So that's probably a new lot in 23, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's that corner lot. I
It's
think
that
we
corner
talked
lot.
about it.
Oh, okay.
That was part of the Hauge farm.
I believe that sold for a large amount.
Mhm. But it's still being farmed
Mhm.
because it's still valued at ag use value.
Then I wrote down Gavinsky on Nora.
So that's the guy that built the shed house.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember. We went by that.
Yeah. Just east of Otto's house, but on the other side of Nora.
Okay.
Built a shed with a,
House on the
Like a pole
inside.
barn with a little housing unit in it.
A shelves or a barnuminium or whatever you want to call it nowadays.
But people do that. You know, that's, get older and, you know,
I
you
don't
do
think
your,
he's got occupancy yet, and nobody's supposed to be living there yet, so. I don't know if the intent is to have anybody live there or not, but.
The other thing I just found interesting was all of the houses up on the Kennedy Hills subdivision.
yeah,
The ones that were going from the interim assessment to the actual,
with a house on it.
their infamous realtor from Deerfield. Oh, yeah, we're gonna build
Dave
$300,000 affordable homes for people. Yeah, come on.
No, they weren't.
No, I
None of them
can't
were.
wait to talk to him come plan commission time for phase 2.
I wish they'd bring in phase 2.
Huh?
I wish they'd bring in phase 2.
Oh,
how many more lots does he need to sell before he's making a profit? Is he at all, or
Oh,
They're all sold.
are they all sold?
yeah.
So he
You just
should,
gotta get TDRs for,
for anything more.
yeah.
Yeah, but all the first phase lots are sold.
so I have no clue if he's at a break even point now or to go
Well,
ahead or.
Even if he isn't, he's expended all the money for all the stormwater.
Yeah.
The
So
only
he
other
needs-
thing he has is roads and buy the TDRs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just.
takes a lot to make money.
Yeah,
You got more questions about the assessment or should I?
No, go ahead. I just, yeah, I mean, there was probably a couple dozen in there, but yeah. It was probably.
This conference will now be recorded.
it is now 9 PM. We had no one come to Board of Review. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Anders. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you next year.
Absolutely.